What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Unreal Engine 5 game development live stream where we're working on our gas course project, an action game built from scratch using Unreal Engine 5, the gameplay ability system plugin, blueprint, C++, all of that good stuff. So last week we were working on our melee traces, and we're going to continue working on our melee traces because we need to figure out how to properly get interpolation to work in-game. Obviously, we have debugging showing sphere traces in editor, which is nice, but it's not fully representative of what we're going to see in game. So, for example, I'm in game, I do my traces, and we have a good amount of gaps in our traces. And so, as we slow down our time, you'll see improvements. And as we increase time, you see worse results. And then I think this is 1.0. If we make the FPS low, we'll have gaps. And if we make it back to normal, it'll be what we saw earlier. So our goal is to try to figure that out. I've already been looking at the AI assistant here, getting some things we can look at because it's suggesting we do like sub-stepping. So I want to try giving that a go. So we'll see what happens. I do need to make a const for granularity. So basically how many sub-stepping things I should be doing. I don't know if that should be a part of the subsystem data, for example, if there should be like a parameter for granularity or not, or if it's just like a constant that I'm working with behind the scenes. I think for now, I'll make it a const behind the scenes. Hey Casper, how's it going? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Starting the work week, doing some game dev. You know how it goes. So not bad, not bad. I hope you're doing good as well. So they say a const float, trace granularity, and they suggest 10. So I'll just start with 10, and we'll work from that. And then we also need to store previous positions and current positions. So I think behind the scenes there has to be a property here. So just like we have an FGUID, I'm assuming we'll just need like a F vector. And we'll say previous position. I'm assuming that's gonna be okay. So yeah, we're gonna be each part of the system data will have a previous location to kind of track. And so now, we can go into the subsystem here, and this is process melee tick, melee traces. It's happening on tick, but for each tick, we pretty much have to get the current position and the previous position, and kind of store within that. So I think I need to basically per each request. I don't know if I want to start and end locations and everything like that. Give me just a second. So we're getting the start location and location. We're zeroing those out. But I'm not sure exactly what we should be doing with those, if I'm going to be real. So for now, let's just do here float distance delta equals so you could do f vector distance, and we're going to take, I need to do the current location. So maybe I need to do that later. I guess I got to do it down here. So float distance delta equals distance, and we're going to get start location But then instead of I don't know if I should call them start location or should I say current location. I'll keep it start location just to keep my sanity in check here. And then float distance delta, blah, blah, blah. We get the distance start location, which is where we are currently. And the end location is where we were. I guess I gotta just do let me just write it as it is and we'll sort it out in our heads here. So total distance, it's gonna be distance, so previous location. So I'm gonna say what? Float the current, is it, or not float, f vector current position equals start location, f vector previous position equals melee request previous position. And then I get to say previous. Current position is that delta there. Then we got to do int32 number of steps equals fmath. The max value between 1 and fmath seal to int between total distance, so distance delta divided by granularity, so trace granularity. Then I gotta do basically like my starts and all that stuff here. So start location equals previous location, and then step vector is incrementing like that. And then I need to do a for loop. I'm using sweep multi by object types. I don't know, is that a thing? Let me look at that. So out hits. So step hits. Step hits is some sort of array that's being declared somewhere, and I'm not sure where. Maybe I don't really care. And then we're doing start position and end position, and I don't know where end position's being kind of notated as. I guess here. So let's see. Can we break this down a little easier here? So start position is the previous position, and we're going into end position. Because yeah, we're doing a sphere trace single for objects. So maybe this is actually better. Sweep multi by object type here. So let me comment this thing out. So we're getting the number of steps, and then we need to do a for loop here. So for int32 step index equals 0, da 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 da. Yes. So I don't need to do step fraction, I don't think. Float n position equals, I don't want to lerp. It's equal to start position, so start location, plus step vector, which I'm not calculating just yet. So start location plus step vector. And then suppose all these would be in here. And then we do the trace. So bool the hit equals ukismet library, system library, not sphere trace, it's multi so sweep multi. Okay, so it's not ukismet library, so it's it's the world. So do I have the world here? I do. Sweep multi by object type. No, multi by object type, please. I don't think that's necessary here. So what do I need to provide? So an array of the hits. So let me just grab this real quick, just so I can see this. So yeah, we need this T array. Step hits. Step hits, start location, end position, and then f quat identity, and then the object query params, so f collision object, but instead of eWorld static, if I say melee request dot object types, I don't know if that's going to be compatible. And then the trace shape, so f collision shape, make sphere with melee request dot radius. And then query params. Which I don't know if I'm making. I'm not. So I need to make that. Let's see. Not sure what that can be, but we'll see. So query params dot add ignored actor, query params dot Debug query. Add ignore components, clear. What else do we got? So it's just debug trace channel. I don't know what any of that really is at the moment. Let's just leave it as is, and then we can just say query params and call it a day. I just don't know if this will even compile. I do want to see what this function looks like. So fphysics interference, blah, blah, blah. Default collision channel, blah, blah, blah. Object query params. Okay. Let's just see what happens when we try to compile this. I doubt it's going to compile, if I'm going to be honest. Yeah, I'm not fully... I gotta just kind of wrap my head around it. So yeah, query params references must be initialized. What's the best way to do that? Okay, so is it because it's a reference? Because yeah, the fact that I can't also, because I gotta figure out what the query params are, because one of these things has to handle the debug drawing of it. No. So trace tag, owner tag, trace complex, return physical material, skip, blah blah blah, mobility type, stat IDs. So bool b debug query. I don't know what that really is gonna mean. So I'm just gonna set it to true. So query params.debug query equals true. And we'll just see what the results we get are. Because I haven't really used sweep multi by object type before. Or sweep multi in general. So we're gonna have to just roll with the punches on this one. And we'll let Unreal do its thing. Okay. My hope is that we get something visible. Whether the results are going to be accurate is one thing. Because yeah, I don't think I'm storing like I'm not storing the update. It's like start position equals end position. And I don't think I'm updating the previous position. So we're probably gonna get something funky, honestly. But, you know, let's roll with funky for a bit, you know what I mean? Because yeah, just playing that, you're gonna see some pretty derpy things. But, you know, you can scrub and you'll see it. You know, that's one thing. Let's just see what we get if we get a crash. Okay, so we're not really getting improvements. At least we're seeing something. So let me put a breakpoint here. I just want to see what we're getting. So num steps is 262. So float distance delta. Heyo, hey, Matt's Creative. Thanks for the subscription. Much appreciated. How you doing, man? So yeah, we're definitely getting a weird number. I guess we're getting, so the distance delta is probably gonna be 0, and that's why we're gonna get a funky number in that regard. Because yeah, total distance is like 0 divided by 10. Is that unknown number? Or is it 0? It's 0. So yeah, it's either going to be 1 or 0. And for some reason we got 262. So current position equals start location. And then previous position, we're getting some. Okay, so we're getting a huge number. So that's the first problem. So let us try to figure this out. Because yeah, when we're starting first and foremost, you know, both current position and previous position should be the same. So previous location, because with the example that they're giving, the assumption is we're providing previous position and current position. And then at the end, they're saying start position is equal to end position. So we gotta think about this out loud, I think. So we know where the start location is gonna be, right? So then do we say like previous position? Because yeah, the current position is where the arm is, and the previous position is where it was. And when it doesn't start, so I don't want to say current position, because if I say current position, then each time the substep is going to be 1. So I feel like... So, all right, so they're saying here end position is equal to start position plus step vector. So to me, it seems like, yeah. So end position and previous position are 2 different things in this case. So how do I solve this? So current position is start location. Previous position should be what was stored. maybe up here it's okay for it to be current position. So we do this, we get here, we get the step, and then we do all this stuff, and then I need to, after we're done iterating over everything, this is all through like a single tick. After it's all said and done, you then say start location equals end position. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we get any noticeable changes there. So we'll do this reload, fingers crossed. All right, build failed. Sick. Okay, so float should be preceded by this. What did I mess up? So line 164. Here it is. Whoopsie. Let's try that again. Okay. Let's see. Let's not. So yeah, we're still getting pretty inconsistent. Yeah, drawing time dilation is not going to work for us. Yeah. Like it should be in general better. So let's see if we're getting the weird number for the steps. Put a breakpoint here. Punch. So steps is 1. And then okay, so it looks like so number of steps is 1. And then it seems to break. Or at least I'm not getting and also step vector is not really being what it wants it to be. So current position minus previous position. Yeah, for some reason it's always, at least it breaks, at least in that case. So let me just do a UE log. Log temp, number of steps, yes. Okay. Oopsie. Okay, so that succeeded. Let's look at our output log. Let's clear it and let's just punch it. And then what do we see in our output log? Yeah, number of steps is always 1. So yeah, we're doing something like I'm not wrapping my head around something. So let's try to again work this out. So every time we have a current position is our start location. in previous position. It would have to be like how it is kind of written here, or the previous position coming in. But you know, I'm also needing to do like melee request that previous position equals like start location, I guess. Like I'm trying to think here. We have our current position, which is where our arm is, and the previous position is what we have stored previously. I would like to UE log 10 current position, and I want to say melee trade regress previous position that to string. I just want to see what that number is going to be. For like the first instance of it. We don't get anything. Current position. I don't see anything for position. Yeah, current position, never mind. So current position 0, 0. Oops. So like, yeah, ideally I say previous position is, it's not going to be equals to current position. It's going to be this. But yeah, I know we're not out of the woods yet. That's probably not right. But so we can at least look at the number of steps. So yeah, we're getting a good amount. But definitely way too much. So 42, 44. But we're not really seeing those represented. So yeah, we're doing, you know, start location and position. So I don't think start location is right. Or is it? So start location equals end position. But then end position is start location plus step vector. Yeah, I'm also getting, I think I'm getting too many substeps, by the way. Let's see. Yeah, we're doing start location and location. So maybe I can say end location is equal to start location. Then we can say, then maybe I don't need to write this out. So we can do start location, end location, and then step vector is equal to end location, start location. Let's just see what happens when we do that. I think we're gonna get compile errors. I'm sure I missed something down here. Okay, I didn't. Interesting. So step is actually 1, right? And then I do it again. So is it always? Let me clear log. Stop that. Okay, so it only does 1 step. But why? Let's try again. Okay, so it did multiple. Number of steps is, again, only ever 1. Which I guess doesn't really make sense. So we're actually already setting this like that down here. So end location, start location. So it's always going to be 1 if I do that again. Assuming. Yeah, so we're getting a 1 each time. But I need to do what? I need to check. I gotta check the previous position. And the current position. So do I have to store those in some way? So maybe I have to do both. So let's try that. So current position. So I'm going to nuke that. So I want to say like melee trace request that current position equals this. And then melee trace request dot previous position equals this. And then same thing like this. This. But I feel like I really shouldn't be setting it like this. It's like each tick So each time we're doing this, each tick, we're getting this position, then we need to make sure we have the previous one. So I feel like doing this doesn't really make sense to me. And then instead of doing start location, end location, I can do melee request.current or previous position, melee trace request.current. Then we gotta get a distance here, num steps. So step vector is gonna be this and this, and then now we're saying the end position and then we say f vector start location equals previous. Then during the iteration thing, we say end position equals start location plus this. Do all that mumbo jumbo, and then we say start position. This is previous and current, and then there's start position. So let's call this start position. So start position equals end position, and the previous position equals this. And so then the start maybe? There might be some compile errors with that one. I was changing a lot of variable names. Oh yeah, and I think I created something in the header, so this might be weird. Let's see. Yeah, so we're still getting not what I'm expecting. But I mean, we're getting different numbers. So 141, 3, 3, 7, 7, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and 1. I'm not getting those distances really. The end position equals start position plus step vector. And then, I mean, do I also have to do like melee trace request at current position? No. Current position is set up here. So I'm getting that information each time. So for each one, we're doing this. So maybe I'm doing, so there's actors to ignore and stuff like that. I don't know if I need to do this anymore. And there's also the hit result. I don't think I'll need to do that anymore. But yeah, trying to figure out the end position. So let me, I think I need to file again? No. Let me just try to see what's going on. So we do that. Do we get a crash? Yeah, okay. Can I do a hot reload and get that breakpoint back? Let's see. Okay, maybe. So boom. So end position. So start position is this step vector. Num steps. I'm getting, I don't know, weird values, I guess. Because again, yeah, we're not getting the number of traces that I'm kind of expecting. So let me put in UE log temp. Say start position, sure. Let's just see what we're getting. So I'm expecting some big numbers. So I'm going to do that. Now what do we get? See, that's steps. So number of steps, and then we get start position. Should get 42 of them. And then 6, we get 6 start positions. Okay. Let's put end position. And for the sake of this, I want to set this to false. I just want to see if we're still getting the debug draw. Yeah, we are. So what debug draw are we seeing? Is it the request sphere melee trace? Oh, maybe it's this one. So if editor, probably this one. Yeah. Okay, so I'm seeing the wrong stuff. Awesome. So if gedit, and I have to just make sure we're not in world. So how to check if we are in Pi game? Forget what the check is. So use is game world. So if gedit. Okay. So maybe I could just say like if get world. What are the types? Game editor. Okay. So if not equal to we'll type editor return. Let's just see. Okay, let's just see if we get a crash. Okay, but we're still getting traces. Cool. Why? So world type. let's let it take its time evaluating what that is. Does it not tell me in the end? Oh my lord. Okay. Possible world type values pi game editor. So use G is play in editor world for pi. So, and G is play. So, and not. Maybe that's valid. But then now I gotta check how to properly debug these spheres that I am drawing. Okay, so good, we're not drawing lines anymore. Are we still drawing in here? Yes. Okay. So now I gotta figure out how to correctly draw the debugs here. So how to draw debug for this. So here, so so there's not really a way to do that. Do I have to draw? I have to draw twice? Interesting. So that's whatever. So I guess I can say, if be hit, I could say draw debug sphere. I guess green. And then else. I mean, I don't have to write it like that, do I? Maybe I can just say, so is it like F linear color, trace color equals, and then the hit, blah, blah. Yeah, that. I want to change these to a green, red, and then I could say draw debug sphere world end position melee request.radius segments, let's say 8. And I could say like trace color. What is the rest? Persistent lines, yeah, false, lifetime, yeah, depth priority, yeah. Hopefully all that is kosher. Okay, we failed, but that's fine. So draw debug sphere error. Cannot convert argument 5 from F linear color to constant F color. Okay. Is that valid? No. Okay, so F linear color to F color function does not take 0 arguments. Okay, so I think let's draw debug sphere. So we need a F color. So can I? So F color. Can I say that and not get yelled at? Okay. So everything passed. Moment of truth to see what this looks like. Okay. Sort of. So I think what I believe we need to do is our trace granularity should be actually the melee request radius. It shouldn't be that fine. It should just be enough to cover how big the radius of the circle is. So that's one thing. Yeah, we're not getting as many. But yeah, it's starting at seemingly 0, 0, 0. So let me just look at my output log. So clear. Let me just move over here for a sec. Do that. And look. So start position is 0, 0, 0. So we gotta see where this is. So I gotta figure out how to set that up. Maybe it's okay for start position. To be current position? Okay. No. I wonder how our FPS is doing when we're doing all these sweeps. That's pretty heavy. And yeah, it's because the number of steps are pretty rough. So start position is still 0. So what do I get here? So I do this, bam. So yeah, the number of steps here. So that basically the fact that the distance is pretty big there. So again, I think I have to say, like essentially every time I iterate over this, they have to, I think it has to just match. So distance is current position or in previous position. So maybe I have to say like, you know, start position is this. And then I can say start position here. And then step vector. I feel like, let's see. Doesn't feel right. Definitely not. So let me clear the log. Punch. Yeah, number of steps is always 1, which we don't want. We only want it like per frame to like kind of reset. Hey man, how's it going? Hey Manfredo, how's it doing? How's it going? I'm doing good. We're trying to figure out the interpolation for our melee sweeps and struggling a little bit, but we'll get there. So start position should always be our current position, right? And then the delta should be start position. But yeah, the distance doesn't really make sense to me. So this is what it's suggesting. So total distance and the number of trace steps. So total distance is previous position and current position. So do I have to like... So melee request dot previous position and current position. Maybe because I'm doing this first. And then then after that I do this to get the current position. Not sure. I've been watching for a minute, but I'm kind of lost. Yeah, so am I, man. Trying to figure this out. So start. All right, I messed something up here. Start position. Then I have to say f vector start position equals previous position. And then like that. Not confident. We'll see what we can establish within like the next 30 minutes. Like we're seeing some stuff, but yeah, not what we need. So we are kind of back to square one. So let's just clear. We'll say bam. My assumption is number of steps is still always 1. So melee request dot previous position. So let me get here. So previous position is this. And we do current. So we basically I feel like then we get to here. Let me just do it. Bam. Not get like for some reason the debugger doesn't really give me any information. And it feels like I think I need to print out UE log. Not distance delta. I want to say so previous position. Then current position. Then I'll say what? Melee request that to string, and then that. Let's see if I'm able to give myself the data I need to figure this out. Okay, so fail. So static assert. Okay, so I'm getting some weird one about how I'm requesting these strings. So I need to actually add it. That'll help with show. Okay, so we still failed. Same problem. Got cocky there for a second. Oh, okay. Maybe it just needs to be a pointer, and I'm just being silly. Because yeah, I just want to confirm, but it seems to me that this current position and the end position are always the same. So let's do that. Show it. Previous position 0 and 0. Previous position and current position. Yeah, they're always the same. Why? Now, is it again because of the ordering? So we're getting the number of traces right, but again, like the problem is at the beginning, start position 0, 0, 0, and these end positions are just crazy. Okay, we have someone we would want to ban. Let us ban you. Goodbye. Yay. Peace out. And that's why the number of steps is so big. Like we have to make it 55. So like how we're starting this is just wrong. Like we essentially have to say like for each of the melee traces, we need to do what? Because previous position and current position are going to be, I guess, wrong. Unless I'd say here. Maybe? No, where's the whole back where we belong? Let me just try it again. Hey, do you mind if I clone your repo? I'd love to take a look at how you did things. You can, but you're not gonna be able to run the project. It's gonna be broken as shit. So all you can really do is just look at the repo and look at the code, which you're free to do. So number steps, 1, and then previous position, current position. All that. I don't know. So let me look at this. Like, man, this like doesn't give me any good debug information. So distance delta. Let's put a UE log as well there. Distance delta. I want to see what we're getting. So bam. So each time the distance delta is 0. But are we not preserving that? Because yeah, current position, we're setting to here. So current position and previous position are different. Is it not being like preserved? And they're always just 0? Let me move this up here. Okay. So previous position is 0. Current position is that. Like seems like it's good, but the distance is fucked up for some reason. So melee request previous position. I don't have to write it like that, do I? I doubt it. Yeah, don't have to. Because yeah, the distance delta is just not making sense to me. honestly. So it's always saying 0, even though previous and current are different. Distance delta always 0. So, blah, 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 check the logic. Like to me, that like, I think I have it correct, honestly. So yeah, start position is the previous position, and the previous position is going to be 0. The number of steps and the delta. I don't know. I just can't wrap my monkey brain around this right now. Let's see. Let's clear this log. That previous position, current position 0, distance delta 0, makes sense. Number of steps, good. Now previous. Okay, so now they are saying the same. So previous position 406. Okay. So the previous position. So what does the previous position have to be? So the start position is previous position? Or is this current position? Let's see, boys. Okay, so we're getting sort of the right information. Like the number is wrong. Like the number of steps that we're doing, that's kind of gross. So let's look. Yeah, the number of steps is 83. And the reason why. So first, previous position, current position, both are 0. The distance delta is 0. Number of steps is 1. So then the start position, blah, blah, blah. So now, previous position is that. That distance delta shouldn't be that big, right? So we're pseudo on the right track, right? The distance is there. But then, yeah, somewhere around here. Then did I say... maybe like this? Maybe? Nope. Let's clear that. Let's do it. Bam. So, yeah, number positions always kind of 1. And we're getting pretty derpy positioning, so that's wrong. So, I feel like this is... so previous position, can we say, is melee request dot current position? Maybe that's it. Maybe no. Dang it. So let's look, hit it. So yeah, num position, num steps is still always 1, is the distance delta. So maybe now things can be at the top. Let's see. Almost. Let's clear the log, do that. So previous position is 0, 0, 0, current position. So that's why it's bad to start. Because again, the current position is starting out as 0, 0, 0. So you got a huge one here. So you got funky traces for a little bit. Man, I am just not getting this. Did I try setting it to Wumbo? Good call. Good call. Now, is it because... well, no matter how I do it, it's gonna be a high number. Oh, not sure. Because yeah, the problem is, like when first iterating it, like I gotta make sure these things are the same. So that's why I thought, you know, we do this kind of math stuff first, and then I get here, and then but this doesn't get me the results that I want. Yeah, they're so derped out and all over the place. And looking at my log, num steps is always 1. Because the distance delta is always 0 because they're always the same. So current position and previous position seem to be the same. And that's because I'm saying this. And then if I make this start position, they shouldn't be the same, ideally. Seems like they are. Let's hit it one more time. Yeah, still the same. If I make this end position, so end position equals start position plus step vector. Unless I take this out of the for loop and do it like that. But yeah, the declaration here is scoped there. So maybe I have to say this is start position. Whoops. Maybe I'm just not thinking about this right. Obviously, I'm not thinking about this right because I'm not getting it right. Okay. Let's see. So I go bam. Start from the beginning. So number of steps is 1 because they're the same. And then this, yeah, the distance delta is crazy the second time. So previous position is this, current position is that. So end position equals start position plus step vector. So what is, let me just UE log the step vector here. Oh, bam. So step vector is that. I think that's the problem. The first one, the step vector, is huge, it seems. And step vector is the current position minus the previous position. Howdy there. Hey, Lord. Sorry, is it fright use or for use? My bad. So yeah, for some reason, for the first section here, Both vectors are 0, but the step vector is a huge number. Pronounced it like fritters, but without the second R. Friteur. Fritters. Sounds fancy. Nice. Yeah, so for whatever reason, step vector, I'm getting just a bizarre number in my mind. Because yeah, start position is this. And previous position okay, so I believe it's because okay, so current position. Okay, so I need to get actually better accurate data here. Because now I need to move this to here. And I apologize for the French handle that makes everyone Anglophone struggle to announce it. It's not a generous move on my part. No worries. No worries. You got, not hard to learn. I'll try to remember. Either way, thanks for stopping in. Thanks for popping by. We're getting towards the end of the stream. Unfortunately, we're going to be trying just a few things to try to debug what we're working on, but hopefully we find some answers. Yeah. Yeah, you know this elf. It's one of the marketplace assets. So yeah, step vector is this. So where am I printing out step vector? Did I not hot reload that? Let me check. Yeah, they're pretty good. I like them. And yeah, for the sake of our project and learning and everything, it's not a bad place to start from. So yeah, let's look at our log. Let's clear the log again, do that, get a weird results, and see what's going on. So yeah, previous position and current position. So basically, that's the problem. So step vector is huge to begin with. Then we get here. Then the step vectors get small again. So there's something where I'm missing, like, storing the previous one as well. Like, do I have to? I don't think this is right either. We'll give this one more go and then we'll have to call it, I think. Otherwise, I'll go insane. So yeah, thank you for that follow, Lord Fritua. Much appreciated, thank you. Okay, so we're still getting janky shit. Let's punch again. So distance delta 1, sweep, start vector 0, good. And position, and then we get a distance delta of 0. So because the previous position then is 0, 0, 0 for some reason. Yeah, because previous position, start position. I'm just missing something on like storing where this position is. So we're iterating over the steps. So I want to do that. So start position equals end position. So previous position seems to always be 0. Because number of steps is 0. Okay. All right, last try. Just got here, so no idea if it's related, but you set the previous position to the end position to the end. Yeah, basically, like I need to store on per each melee request, like at the end of the interpolation after iterating over them, I have to store the previous position, like the last known position. So we gotta see. So previous location, at least it's not a 0 number now. Oh my god. Why? Yeah. My brain is just not liking any of this. So yeah, distance delta, step 1, good, previous, current, and then yeah, the current position. So again, the problem is the previous position is not being stored until after the whole iteration thing. Can you show the code again for a few seconds? Sure. I'm not sure how well this will read. But yeah, we're trying to do traces and we're trying to do interpolation in between frames to catch the space in between each tick. So there's just something I'm not getting. Because yeah, like we gotta get the current position of the fist, right? And we gotta say, okay, at the start of the tick, we're here, and then at the start of the next tick, we're here. So we gotta get the distance in between those two positions and determine how many times we want to iterate to catch that space in between. And so something I'm doing is just not correct. Because the initial step vector is huge, and then that causes other problems. And then yeah, it seems to be kind of like a can of worms. So if you're able to help me determine what's going on just by looking at it, that'll be super useful. But I'll have to figure this out potentially here. It seems like num steps is always 0. Maybe let's trace it. Well, num steps in this last iteration, num steps is definitely non-0. Like the first non steps is 1, and then it's 83. And the reason why it's 83 is because the previous position stored is 0, 0, 0 to start, and the current position is the position of the fist. So, like, I'm not sure how to properly initialize the previous position at the beginning without kind of messing it up. Because yeah, previous position eventually needs to be this. So something is just not tracking in my mind. Because yeah, obviously I'm getting the distance, and you know, by at the beginning of the tick, this at the very start this should be 0, because they should be both 0 to begin with, because we're not initializing anything. And so num steps is 1 because we do a ceiling here. Then we set the current position to the skeletal mesh bone socket if it's valid. If not, we just set it to the location of the actor. And then we make this other variable start position. Maybe we don't really need it, but we set the start position to current position. Then I do a print, and then I do my step vector, which again, at the beginning, the step vector is going to be huge, because current position is where the fist is in the world, and previous is 0. So I need to find how to say, okay, when we start, this will always be there, you know, like, so yeah, that's where I'm trying to wrap my head around. So I don't want to check if it's 0, because maybe at some point it could happen to be 0, 0, 0, and we want to take that into consideration. Okay, so maybe actually, let's see. Start position is previous position. Yeah, I think I have to think about this some more. My head is kind of derping out, so we'll try to continue this tomorrow. So that's where I'm going to end it for tonight, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. If you aren't already, feel free to join our Discord. I guess that link doesn't work because I have to turn on Streamlabs bot something. Give me a second. Again. But yeah, you can feel free to join our Discord. I will link that correctly in a second. Bot on. Let's try you again. There you go. Feel free to join our Discord. If you're watching me here on Twitch and you aren't following me, make sure to follow. It'll be much appreciated. So thanks to both Matt's Creative for subscribing and for Lord Friteur for following as well. It's all much appreciated. And if you want to join on YouTube, you can feel free to subscribe there. I usually try to put out shorts based on the content that we make here for your viewing pleasure. Since we have a good amount of people watching, let's go ahead and raid first Crimson. He's really cool, really good at what he does, so definitely stay tuned to watch him. So again, big thank you to everybody for popping in. We'll be back hopefully tomorrow. It depends on how good or bad of a day at work I have. So take care, have a good night, and I'll see you soon.